Hey guys, so before we start, here is a time chart showing the times of when I start talking about specific things in the video to help work out your biceps. So if there's only a certain thing you want to watch in the video, here you go, just jump straight to that time part. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Hey guys, and welcome to another video of Fitness IRL. For this video, we're going to be focusing on strengthening and growing our bicep muscle. So for this video, I'm just going to be going over some tips and tricks on how to do it, how to properly work out your bicep. It being a minor muscle might be a little different for some people, and getting that growth aspect that you might be struggling to see. So let's just jump right into it, and yeah. Okay, now to start. When working our bicep, we have to remember that it is a minor muscle, not a major muscle, so it is kind of harder to really get that stress that you need to make it grow or make it stronger. Because when we work our chest, it's a lot of muscle that we're using, and it's a huge stress on our body. Like when we're working legs, if you've ever done like an intense leg workout, the next day it becomes harder to walk after each day, and it's just an intense amount of stress on your body. But when you work your biceps, you might work them pretty hard. Next day you might not feel it that much, or you might if you're not used to it. But when you start getting more advanced and working out, it becomes harder to feel those aftershock effects from working out the minor muscles. So basically what I'm going to go through is how to get that aftershock feeling again afterwards and actually see growth again in your biceps, even if you think you've already plateaued. I'm going to show you how to escape those plateaus. So to start, basically what I'm going to just do, I'm going to stand here, curl this weight a couple times, but I'm going to be going through the steps on how to make your reps really count when working your biceps. So first of all, when you're working out a minor muscle, do not focus on weight when you're starting out. It might be cool to say, oh yeah, I can curl 50 pounds, or I can curl like 80 pounds, but you see guys curling and they're doing this, and they're doing like these weird motions, and it just does like, why are you like shrugging back? Why is like your trap activating? You shouldn't be doing that. You're working your minor muscle. And that's always reasons why you might not be feeling in your biceps, or you might not seeing that growth that you want, because you're moving too many muscles at the same time. So first things first, right? Stand out. What you want to do, put your shoulder back. Extend bicep all the way. You do not want to move your traps or anything else. And you're just going to curl up, right? If the weight's too heavy for you to do this, and you're doing this, you're coming forward, or your elbows coming back, traps moving, and you're moving more than you should, and your elbows not just staying in place, and doing this, weight's too heavy, switch it up. Go a little lighter, because that's fine, right? This is fitness in real life, guys, right? So you avoid the heavy weights, go to lighter, focus on the contraction. Okay, part two. Now, what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to be showing you the second part after you pick up those smaller weights. Now I don't want you doing this and going nuts with it, right? Because that's where you see guys talk about, oh, I'm striving for that pump, and they just do this constantly, right? That's not what we want to see. If you want growth and you want your muscles to tear properly and you can see growth and strength afterwards, hold that contraction at the top, guys. So we're going to do same thing we did before. Make sure we're properly staged, properly statured, and curl the weight properly. Then what we're going to do, we're going to contract the top and squeeze your bicep and let it go slowly. Focus on that time under tension on the way down too. So up, squeeze, time under tension. Right? Like I'm only in my third rep, I'm feeling it. Because you're working that muscle so much more when you're holding that contraction, right? Because that's when you're really squeezing everything and your body's just like, oh my god, this is just terrible, right? So, really, again, we've only done two things in, and I might have just changed the entire lookout on how you do your bicep curl. Part three. Now, what I'm going to be going into is range of motion. You might see some guys be doing some short range of motion stuff at the gym. Now, for them, they might be doing something different. But if you want to see growth in your biceps, you want to get full range of motion when you do your workouts. So I'm going to pick up the weight. And you can see guys do this, right? And they're not getting that full contraction, so that avoids like the second thing I mentioned, getting that full contraction at the top, and that time under tension downwards. But what else I want to see, so I can back up here, when we go down, I don't want you to stop here. I want you to stop like at your side. So when we go up, we do this, and it's all the way back down, all the way back up again, and we squeeze each time at the top, right? That's what you want to see. You don't want to only do these half reps. When you do half reps, you're not stretching out your muscle to then create those little micro tears each time you fully extend. Then when you contract, you're using every single part of your bicep again, inducing growth, because you're shocking the muscle more and more, which stimulates growth. Part 4. Now we're going to be jumping in a little to about rep ranges. So when we're doing rep ranges, there's different rep ranges to achieve certain goals. If you want to focus on strength, you probably want to go 6 or below. 6 is like kind of like the highest you want to go if you're thinking about strength, because really what you're focusing on is really tearing your muscles really quickly and focusing on tendon power. If you want to focus more on hypertrophy, which is the growth of your muscle, you want to go from like 6, then again that's like I would say what I usually do is about 8 to 12, or you could say 6 to 12. I usually go 6 to 8 if I just want that in between, but saying like 8 to 12 is a good hypertrophy range just for our general use. And then above 12 you start getting into like muscular endurance, which is like thinking about, just an example, how many push-ups can you do in a row, right? That's muscular endurance. So how long can your muscle work for with oxygen no longer being supplied to that muscle, right? Because when you're doing push-ups, it's all about keep going until your muscles literally just can't go anymore. So when we're doing biceps, we want to work on that hypertrophy skill, because we start going endurance, we might not see that growth that we want. So we're going to do 8 reps. I'm just going to do 8 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry if these aren't like super proper, I just want to get these in. 7 and 8. Okay, 8 reps. Now, I only have one weight with me right now, but then what you might want to do, got those 8 reps in, it's like, cool, feeling it. This is a minor muscle. And I mentioned before, it's not that big of a strain in your body when you're working on a muscle compared to your legs. Like I said, how you might not be able to walk the next day, but you work biceps and you might be fine the next day. You might feel it a little bit, but you're generally fine because your body doesn't have to react that way. So if you want your body to react in a way that it stresses the crap out of it, shock the muscle. So you're going to pick up a lighter weight. I'm going to pick up the same weight again and do a couple of cheat curls just get my point across. So you're going to pick up the weight. You're going to drop the weight. So let's say you were doing, let's say general, 25 pounds. You're currently 25 pounds, you got 8 in. You could have done like 1 or 2 more, but you don't want to max it out every single time. Put the weight down. You pick up 15 pounds. And then you start going ham. Still decently proper form, but now it's all about getting fluid, blood into your biceps, creating even more micro tears, right? That's what you want to get, because chasing that pump is how you stimulate growth. Because if you increase how big your arms are getting or your bicep is getting during the workout by pumping a bunch of blood and a bunch of fluids into it, you're expanding it. So then it leads into future growth, right? Because if you don't really push your muscle to where it has to grow throughout your workout or get that pump, then it's not going to lead to future growth. Hence why if you do too much, you're not necessarily going to get a pump. You're more just going to drain your muscle out to exhaustion. Last part, for this one, I'm going to actually show you an exercise and like a good like rep range sort of thing that you can do with it, and you can add to your exercise for anything you want to do. So your bicep works in like mainly 2 ways. There's a third one, but I'm not really going to touch on it that much. It's just kind of like it's connected to your shoulders, so it sort of moves like this too, but it's like such a minor way that I'm not really going to include it. But your bicep works in 2 other ways. One, you all know, you do bicep curl, bicep contracts, and acts as a lifting motion. But it's also, as you can see, let's say I'm doing this. You might have guys already saw it if you don't know it, but right here. So if I go like this, and I curl, and my hand's just flat and is facing this way, you see my bicep like fully extended, and it worked this way. But when I supinate, which is turning inwards with my palm and like away with my thumb, you can see my bicep curling up more. So if you watch it again, it's now like that ball form. What you see when guys flex, it's like in a ball. It's not like out like this, which would be this way. you supinate inwards and get that ball effect, which is what you really want to see. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add a little rotation into our curl. So I'm going to step back out here. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So we have our weight. And instead of just doing this normal bicep curl, what we're going to do, we're going to add a twist. So we're going to start in a hammer curl position with it just facing like parallel to us. Now what we're going to do is when we're curling, we're going to curl at the same time. We're going to rotate, supinate, and when we hit the top, closer, when we hit the top, we want to be supinating out. So we don't want to stop here, we want to supinate. And when we come down, we're going to twist again, slowly get that full time under tension. Yeah. And then if you want to make it harder, what we can do is instead of grabbing it right here in the center, you grab it on the farthest side you can. So then when you're twisting, right, all the weight's down here, so supinating becomes so much harder. Instead of like, let's say you're on the opposite side, it's like the weight just falls with you. So that's like my little like cool bicep one, because it really works like this aspect, the supinating and the contraction part of your bicep, which is amazing. And again, if you want to make it even harder, you can move down your dumbbell to make supination harder, or you can start literally like back your hand facing forward and twist even more. Starting from the side is just a good start point, but if you want to do like more advanced, it's starting to get too easy, or you haven't increased weight yet, but you still want to get more bicep in it, all the way twist. And then I would recommend for that one, 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. You can add a superset or a drop set in. I don't really think you always need to, but if you really feel like it, depends on the day, depends how you feel, you can throw it in. But again, if you're doing all the other steps too, you might not even need to do that. If you're really getting that good contraction, you might be already in so much pain that you can't pick up another weight again, right? So there's that. And also for the sets, honestly, in my opinion, sets vary with every single person. If you don't have great endurance, you might be able to do 12 reps and 8 reps and 8 reps again, barely getting there. And like a 4 set just doesn't even see in the cards with using the same weight. I would just advise, pick a weight, falls high in your rep range, then it decreases with every set-ish. As soon as you fall out of your rep range, that's your last set. That's how I like to do it, because then it's like, okay, I'm no longer working with the weight I want to work with, and you're no longer getting that progress you want to see. So when you're out of that, then stop. But again, I'd recommend general 4 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Focus on everything: contraction, turning, time under tension, right? And a good form, full extension, and curling all the way up. Because every time we do that, that's the way we work our biceps to its fullest. Because that is fitness in your life. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a comment down below if you guys want to see any video in particular, and I'll try my best to make it. Thanks for watching.